And welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears. We are in the Anima dungeon. We're looking for the Anima Relic. The Anima Relic, as you may recall, is the device that turns a regular gear into an Omni gear. An Omni gear is much more powerful than a regular gear, and we obviously can't let Solaris have all of them. So we need to get this one before Solaris gets to it. But remember, we haven't seen Solaris here yet, so we may just be ahead of the curve. Now, this is the final leg of the dungeon, and there's a little bit of a puzzle down here. Instead of going through the whole thing and showing, I'm just going to enter the codes that are needed. 5 over at D. When you get to C, you gotta go and type in the 8. The idea of this is that if you go over to the A terminal, you see a kind of a chart. And I'm going to show it to you eventually after I enter all the codes in. The current code condition. See the numbers? You gotta go and add those things up. Add them up to 26 in both directions. But I already entered those codes in, so it equals 26, and I can click Anima Relic, released. Now obviously, this facility was built by somebody in ancient civilization that's long dead now. Solaris didn't build it, Shebat didn't build it, none of the current civilizations did build it, but whoever built it obviously wanted to protect the Anima Relic, and it appears that this entire structure was built just to house the Anima Relic. Considering how powerful of a weapon it is, or a enhancement to a weapon it is, I guess it does show that they'd need to protect something like that. Then again, as long as you keep it locked up, you can't use it. I love these doors here. Doesn't really make a lot of sense why these things pop out, but sure, it looks cool. And there it is. The Anima Relic. Ellie just appears out of nowhere. Oh, did you see that? If you had caught it, you'd see that that was Billy's gear, or something that looked like it. And yes, Billy has an Anima Relic now attached to his gear. He has his own Omni gear. Of course, the element's gonna show up. And now we are going to battle the elements again. Now this is the first time that we fought Domina and Calvina on foot. We had fought them in Gears a couple of times before, but this is the first time we're fighting them on foot. So it's going to be a little bit interesting. Now all 4 of these serve different roles. Well, really the 3 in the front are all damage dealers, while Calvina, the one in the back, is the healer of the group. She's also the weakest, and the one that you'll want to fight first. But there's a bit of a problem. All 4 of these girls have different elemental strengths and elemental weaknesses. So what you gotta do is make sure that you use the appropriate attack. Like for example, Tornado, this is water. Despite the name Tornado, this is a water attack. And it heals her because she is the water elemental. Then she goes along and heals the other characters. Pretty good heals. So the best idea is to take her out first. Then the rest are cut off from their ability to heal, and you can just chip them away. Now, provided you do this battle right, it is an amazingly easy battle. See, check this out. Using a fire attack. Bam. Look how much damage. One attack. Get over 2,300, 23, damn it. 2,300 HP of damage. Of course, this one's gotta go and steal all the EP. I need Billy to have EP because he is the healer. So I'll restore summon him. Make sure I use a fire attack on Calvina, and oh yeah, you get an opportunity to see some of the death blows I got for Bart and Billy. See, basically 2 death blows were all that were required to take her down. Now, Domina is the last element that you should fight, because if you attack her before you kill the others, she'll heal herself. However, if you take out the others before you fight her, she doesn't heal herself. However, she also gets stronger after the others are eliminated. Funny little thing, if you take out any of the other ones before you take out Calvina, she stops healing and then she starts trying to attack. So that might be a strategy. You take one of the other ones out and Calvina stops healing. They lose their healing, and she is not a very good attacker. So, I mean, that may actually be even better. Now let's talk a little bit about what they were talking about before the battle. The elements go on about how they are the strong ones and survive, and actually acknowledge that Faye, Ellie, and the group, they're strong as well, and they believe that has something to do with why they didn't mutate while so many other people did. And Ellie goes and points out that all 4 of the elements are not actually Solari. They're people from the surface, and they were taken by Solaris, kidnapped as children, and made to work in Gebler, you know. So Ellie says that you should understand the plight of the people who are the have-nots, you know, those mutated people really changed Ellie's viewpoint on things. She feels more sorry for people that are the have-nots, you know. And she says, all 4 of you used to be like that. You all used to be the have-nots. But they were, obviously, the elements are no pushovers. They're strong, and they, through their strength and through their ability, they managed to better for themselves. So they shouldn't really be that against the weak, because what Domina was talking about, it really seemed like she hated the idea of weak people existing, and they all deserve to die because they're not strong enough to survive. And another thing, you know, this is the first time that Domina actually acknowledged that Faye and the other heroes are actually strong. Before, she always looked down on them like they were somehow lesser than her, you know. And in all the previous times that we had fought the elements, it had always been that the heroes outnumbered the elements. Like when Domina attacked Kislev, it was Faye and Rico fighting her off 2 against 1. Or when she attacked the Yggdrasil in her gear, Blade Gash, it had been 3 on 1. Or when she was in that weird fish thing with Calvino, it was 3 on 2. And in other times, like at Tower of Babel, it was 2 on 2. Either way, the numbers were never for them. This is the first time, though. There are 4 elements against 3 heroes. So they actually outnumber the heroes now. So they're not screwing around anymore. They know that the heroes are strong, and they are not too proud to admit that they can't fight. And now, just now, she'd said that, yeah, she admits it, yeah, they did kick her ass. But she's not giving up yet, though. She doesn't give up. And she wants to try fighting them in gears. Also, notice Billy's new gear there. For anybody out there who had watched the Power Rangers as a kid, this will ring home, you know. All these 4 gears, things that are based on animals rather than people. Except for, you know, Dominus, that looks like a person. They merge together and form one big, powerful gear. It's actually kind of cool looking. This sequence does take a little while, a little too long. That's the G elements, all 4 elements gears combined to form one that's more powerful than all of them. Now the thing about this, though, is they lose their numbers advantage. Although this gear is a lot more powerful than any of them, it only can attack one at a time, and only one element can control the gear at a time. And therefore, it attacks with only one kind of element at a time. I mean, a different character has to take control of the gear to use, say, fire and water and wind and ground, I guess. Now this battle is going to be a little bit harder than the last one, because I'm not aware of any good strategy that, you know, always works, just like the strategy I used in the last battle against them. They're just more of a hit it as hard as you can, as fast as you can, and take it down before it can, you know, kill you. That being said, it's still not a very difficult battle. The elements are not the boogeymen that they used to be. So I'm going to use boost, you know, just to get more attacks. Something else I really feel like I need to mention is what Domino was saying before the first battle. She was talking about how Ramses needed the Anima Relic in order to, like, you know, do his plans and all that stuff. What all that is, what his plans are, no one really knows. But they say he needs it, so they'll go and they'll fight to get it. Now, notice they said Ramses is not Carillion or the Emperor or the Gaz Ministry or Gebler or anything like that. This isn't loyalty to their adopted nationality. This is loyalty to their commander, Ramses. He is the person that they are fighting for. I'm going to use this battle as a chance to show you some of the other options that the new Veltal has. Now, these are different attacks that Faye can use in the gear battle. He gets 2 more, Thor Wave, whatever it's called. The problem with these are that they are not very useful attacks. Thor Wave and Flaming Hell. Flaming Hell is actually an attack that will attack all the enemies at once. The problem is you use so much fuel, and it's difficult to justify burning off 600 or 1,000 fuel to perform one attack like that, whereas that 1,000 fuel could put Veltal in the system mid, and he'll have level infinity for 3 turns. That's just the unfortunate way it is, and it's one of the problems with this game, where they didn't go and balance the characters well enough. Characters end up with abilities that aren't very useful, that you end up... I mean, I may go through the entire game, or I'll probably go through the entire game without using either of those attacks, because I know they're useless, where their usefulness is very limited. No, and Faye isn't the only character that has useless abilities. For example, Bart. He has the Yggdrasil depth charges. He can still use those. I can call them up in a battle right now and use them, but they're not very powerful, and they use up too much fuel. Same thing with Billy. Billy has the Jesse cannon. He can call that thing down, attaches to his shoulder, and he shoots it just like we had taken down Bishop Stone with. But it's not very useful in a battle. Same thing with Maria, the gravity cannon. She has the gravity cannon in her gear, and it's not really worth it to use it. The only 2 options that are really useful in this game are Phase System Id, because, you know, there's that whole high-powered attack thing that comes along with that, level infinity, and Ellie's Air Rods, because, well, it doesn't use nearly as much fuel up, and it attacks every enemy around you. And it's a useful item, but it's not useful for a majority of the game. It's only useful in specific circumstances. And there are options that you can do. There are things you can do. Equip Ellie with certain things that make using the air rods a lot more powerful, but that's a little bit like breaking the game. And I'm not going to do something like that before I play through. It makes it too easy. Now, I've been trying to get level infinity with both Bart and Billy in this battle, because they have elemental death blows, Both of them do. They both have the ability to get to level infinity. Unfortunately, during this battle, I could not coax it out of them. You only have something like a 10% chance of achieving level infinity after attack level 3. And unfortunately, despite attacking like 20 times or something like that, I couldn't get that 10% chance to work. So it was bad luck. Don't use the X attack against G element if you have Billy in your group, because it doesn't do any damage. Now Calvina is moving forward. That means, of course, the change in the elemental attack. Because none of my gears have any elemental weaknesses, that doesn't mean a thing. Now Domina is making an appearance. When Domina shows up, that means the battle is almost over. They're almost out of HP. So just do some damage, and you'll be fine. Notice I'm not going to try building up any... Oh. Domina will also do a lot more damage, so you got to be a little careful with how you're going to deal with this situation. Don't let your characters get HP below 8,000, because she may kill them in one attack. Of course, Death Blow is the only real good way of doing damage. Billy's square attack will do some good damage. And she's trying to take Faye down. Oh, almost 8,000. So Faye is almost down. But I'm not gonna bother healing them. Back a while ago, Tara had talked about how he can unleash its power, and the System Id thing causes Veltal to go into level infinity. Clearly, though, this is not its power that Faye is using right now. It's significantly weaker. Oh, the sword stays behind. And we actually get that sword, and we can give it to Saitan and equip it for his gear. And it's a very powerful sword. You really shouldn't go on without it. Now, being at the end of the Anima dungeon, I'm going to end this episode. So tune in next time, and we will move on with our search for the Anima Relics.